Hello, my golf fanatics. Welcome to Billy Ho Sports. This week's PGA preview combines us with the DP World Tour. We head over to Scotland for the Scottish Open held at the Renaissance Club. So we are going to preview that golf course first, as we always do. Then we will jump over to Fantasy National to look at some stats, some models, some players, try to figure out what kind of skill sets we're looking for this week to start building our player pool. We'll discuss a couple of the maybe lesser known DP World Tour players toward the end of the show, so stick around for that. DraftKings contest is the main thing. Billy Ho's Scottish Open will be out Monday afternoon, along with when the DraftKings pricing comes out. So make sure you jump into that. Also, a few things that I don't normally advertise. One, follow me on X at Billy Ho Sports. Simple enough. I know a lot of you out there that listen and watch these podcasts are on X. So there's tons of great golf content out there. Also horse racing, which I do a lot of as well. So if you're interested in horse racing, check out my content there. It is top notch. Discord. I have an actual free Discord. I've been doing it for years. I just never really talk about it that much because we have just kind of an intimate group of guys that, maybe a half a dozen or more, up to a dozen that comment and ask questions. And it hasn't been as strong as it used to be in the past, but there's still room for improvement. So all new people are welcome. Just drop a comment in the comment section and I'll put an invite out there for you and jump on in the fun. Now, finally, as always, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. Also, hitting that like button helps spread the content across YouTube. Much appreciated there. So let's get into the golf course. Real quick before we go, weather-wise, not much. When I looked at it yesterday, not a whole lot of wind influence. The wind is the main defense to this wide open golf course. Looks like there's a slight 25%-ish chance for rain every day. So it's really just kind of going to be a lot of scoring opportunities for this one. So look for maybe mid to upper teens. I think it's gotten all the way to 20 plus under. So if the conditions are right for scoring, we could have a birdie fest on our hands. Now, the course at the Renaissance Club itself isn't your traditional links setup. The ground is quite undulating, lots of those mogul-looking humps and bumps throughout the golf course, and the fairways, which are 100% fescue grass. The new holes near the water and the end of the back nine have a lot of undulations, lots of heavy rough in play from the fairways. The fescue-based greens are often elevated, meaning the ground game, you're not going to see a whole lot of putting from off the green. You're going to have to see more chipping. There's just one par 5 on the front nine, but there is a drivable par 4, the 5th hole. So those are your two scoring holes. The other 7 are single digit in the handicap department. So the front nine plays significantly tougher than the back nine. Back nine a little more generous, has the opening 5 holes all played under par, plus the 2 reachable par 5s.
Damn, it fucking hurts.
So that's pretty much your course in a nutshell. You can really get it out there if you want to hit the long ball, but also, short knockers can have success here. It's really proximity on your second shot, as you'll see when we get into Fantasy National. So without further ado, let's jump over there and take a look. Okay, now this is you're only seeing 2 years of course history, but this goes back to 2019. They moved of course, the Scottish Open goes back a lot further than that, but it moved to the Renaissance Club in 2019. So we've had several years of play there, but these are the last 2 is when we've combined the PGA and DP Tour to boost the field up to get players over there to play this tournament right before the Open Championship. So that's why you see just 2 years of history on the Fantasy National side. But you can see Tom Kim leads the way in strokes gained total. Rory obviously gained a whole ton of strokes last year in his winning effort. So, one good year of strokes gained and you're here. But like a guy like Tommy Fleetwood, all these guys you're going to see the usual suspects. but I will get into a few players at the end that maybe go a little bit under the radar. So not a whole lot here. So we're going to jump over to the breakdown first and show you what I mean by when I say the front nine plays tougher. You can see all the red, the nine. I mean, the 7, 8, and 9 are all extremely tough par fours with a par three ninth. And then you have a couple of birdieable holes. You got a short par four here that's you can get after a little bit, but you get into the back nine, you can see a lot easier with the par fives, and then you have a short par three that gives a little bit of boost to birdie, but you don't finish very easily. You got your fifth toughest and your number one handicap, 17 and 18 there. So pretty interesting. And you're not going to see a whole lot because we don't have a whole lot of stats underneath here for like the approach shots. I'll just tell you this, the buckets I'm looking for, 125 through 175 and 200 plus. We've got there's 5 par threes. So you have, I believe, 3 of those 200 plus. Then you're going to have a lot of 200 plus shots on the par fives. So that's where the 200 plus comes in. Also, FYI, top 70 and ties make the cut at this event. So a little bit more robust. There is 165 players listed in the field. So it's going to be even more open than our typical full field events. So last year, Rory bombed away, averaging over 330 yards per drive. As we get over here into the model, you can see Rory ranks number 1 here, and he bombed away. He hit just about 50% of fairways, so he was just hitting them 330 off the tee and just making short wedge shots in. But the first look model, I put a lot of weight on tee to green and a lot of weight on approach. But I wanted proximity because there's the greens are so big. They're probably, if you put an average size on them, I'd say 6,000 square feet, somewhere in that range. So that's why I emphasize 3-putt avoidance and putting from 25 foot plus. Those two are going to be your keys to bogey avoidance. So, and obviously strokes gained around the green is going to come into play somewhat. And then you have to have your birdies and your DK points. I'll probably narrow it down because I did add in driving distance, but I'll probably add a little bit more scoring to another model I run a little later on. But the mixed condition model has all my buckets. I put the mixed condition model like this, and then put like opportunities gained, proximity, birdies, more birdies, and then I went on the buckets that I discussed, just a percent range, just to get an idea. And I like to compare the two model ranks to see who's like. I mean, obviously Oberg is fifth in both. He's going to be obviously a popular play this week and a guy that would be very, very likely to be in a top 5 or compete to win this tournament. Tom Kim, obviously Victor Hovland starting to round into better form, but his around the green game is still not where he needs it to be, even though you'll hear a lot of people say how much he's improved. So you're going to see all the usual suspects. Aaron Rai won this tournament before. He's just playing very impressive golf right now, in contention once again this week at John Deere. So he's going to translate over just the way he's playing and his confidence flying high. He's going to compete. Tommy Fleetwood, since we're not on a PGA official event in America, he's got a good chance to win this golf tournament. And then you got guys like Brian Harmon, who geared up last year, coming through here. He hasn't had a lot of success here, but can pop off at any time. Davis Thompson could win the John Deere, so we'll probably see him next week. And then getting down here a little further, the guys like the regular Joes, like these guys, the Damons, the Hodges, the Skins. I'm not going to be so much interested in them as I would be more of these regular DP Tour type players like Rosner. Anton Rosner is just a really steady player, but these guys miss cuts all the time, so they're very, very. DP World Tour is much more volatile. I like Kurt Kitayama. I believe he's got a win here. I played him a couple of weeks ago. His game's rounding in form. He hits it a ton and he makes a lot of birdies. So when he's on with his putter, that's his own. Your only problem here is going to be finding putters. There's another guy, Louis de Jaeger, and I'll mention another few guys as we close the show. But I really wanted to just get down here into the nitty gritty to see who's Mac Messier. Not so sure about that. But you can see how poorly some of these guys like Wyndham Clark ought to be a stellar play here this week. But so I'm going to have to be revamping this model because some of these guys being way down here don't make a lot of sense. I think Matthew Pavon, who's just been outstanding the last couple of golf tournaments and this year in general, since he's been on the PGA Tour, was ranked kind of low in my model. And I think maybe I just have too much emphasis on putting and around the green game, which is possible. So I'll make some adjustments to the model to get it more liking to my players. Obviously, no Scotty Scheffler this week. Rory and Xander are going to be the two tops with the stars and the scrub models. So I'm going to be real careful about recent good form in some of these lower players because going overseas into a different environment, different type of golf course changes a lot of things, obviously. So what I'm looking at more of is going to be steady Eddie guys that are up here up top, your Morikawas, your Rorys, your Tom Kims, even Hideki, maybe Ludwig, obviously, just making a core group with these top rated guys, and then maybe finding a guy like Novak who's playing pretty well. A guy like Hoagie who's had some success over here, who's a great wedge player, and just needs a little bit of putting assistance. And Tommy Fleetwoods of the world, they're just real steady players. And then I'm going to start dipping into some final level people toward the end. So we're not going over a whole lot of fancy modeling and stuff. This was just an initial, just to show you how these guys are playing toward the top of the list. And so if you change the sample size and you add in, say, like, let's go deep. So if we go last 50 holes or last 50 rounds, I should say, you can see Xander jumps right up there. Xander's been about the most consistent player on tour this year. But steady Eddie guys, like I mentioned before, Corey Connors, obviously, all these guys, you really got to get down here a little bit more to start seeing who you might like to play. Like a guy like Thigala can bomb away out here. And he's kind of a wild card when it comes to these types of events. So Jordan Spieth showing a resurgence this week. A guy that usually plays well overseas. Victor Perez. There's just tons of guys to choose from. Let's close out the show with just a little bit about 5 DP World Tour guys that might catch your interest. Okay, I'm going to start with Sebastian Soderberg, who's number 1 in strokes gained total, number 1 in approach, number 2 tee to green on the DP World Tour. Very solid all-around player. I think will be a guy that you can get some good ownership on. A guy who might get a little play is Alex Bjork. Has made the cut every year in this golf tournament. Solid tee to green player. He can actually putt. Some of these DP guys have putting troubles, just like Team No Putt over here as well. But I'm not really sure about Alex about the amount of golf he's played. He's actually making more of an effort to be on the PGA Tour. He's played several events, including the PGA Championship in May, which he made the cut in. He's made the cut in several events, Valero and others. Then he played most recently, about a month ago, he played the Scandinavian Mixed, finishing T12 there. So he has played recently, but not like every week. So he's played twice in the past 2 months that I can see. So Matthew Pavon is another one. That's a name you know from this year. He's just been outstanding all year long. Should be a good cut maker and might carry some ownership on his price tag, but can just putt the lights out. Obviously, you've seen that over his last couple of tournaments, but it's really good with his iron play as well. Another Matthew Jordan is a big hitting Englishman, great tee to green game. He's really in good form right now. So he's a guy I'm going to consider. And keeping on the train, we went from Matthew Pavon to Matthew Jordan. Now we're going to Jordan L. Smith. Jordan L. Smith, T12 here last year. Also good tee to green game. He gained 7.7 strokes tee to green at the PGA Championship this year. So not so good putter, but a guy who shows up in these combination events, like your majors and DP events in general. So lots more research to do, obviously. Hit me up in the Discord, ask for an invite, subscribe to the channel, follow me on X at Billy Host Sports. Until the next time, thanks for watching. See you soon.